I've been reading through Naoki Hamaguchi's interviews about Final Fantasy VII Revelation, and honestly, there's a lot here that has me excited. It's not just the main story, we're getting more details about Wutai, Gold Saucer, Queen's Blood, Knights of the Round, Chadley, Bone Village being cut, the Advent Children connection, Midgar, Sephiroth's new voice actor, and much more. Most of this sounds very promising. So, first of all, Wutai. I love that Wutai isn't just side content anymore. In the original Final Fantasy VII, Wutai was optional, but now it sounds like they're expanding it a lot more. Not just story-wise, but actual location size too. That has me excited, because I want to see how much more important Wutai feels this time. I don't want it to just feel like a quick side area. I want it to feel like a real part of the story. Then there's the Gold Saucer. I love the Gold Saucer and Rebirth, so I'm glad it's coming back. And it sounds like it's not just coming back as the same minigame hub. It's gonna have a new side story. I feel like that side story might have something to do with Queen's Blood as well, especially since Queen's Blood is coming back with a bigger presence, and honestly, that makes sense. Queen's Blood was one of the most well thought out parts of Rebirth. It wasn't just a random card minigame, it had its own storyline, its own characters, and it actually felt like part of the world. So if Queen's Blood is taking over more space in the Gold Saucer, I'm curious how far they're going to go with it. And this part is just my personal hope, but I'd love to see G-Bike get more attention too. G-Bike already had its own narrative in the mobile game Final Fantasy VII G-Bike, so I'd love to see Revelation do something with that idea. I don't want G-Bike to just be something you play once and move on from. I hope it gets more attention. Maybe even its own storyline inside the Gold Saucer. I'm wondering how snowboarding is going to work this time. From what I saw, snowboarding is coming back, and Hamaguchi said it's a key part of the original game. Apparently, there's going to be a stage in the story for it, and the timing of it is supposed to be a pleasant surprise. I'm also curious about Knights of the Round. That's one of the most iconic summons from the original game. It has 13 knights attacking the enemy, so I'm really curious how Revelation is going to handle that. I love how each summon you fight against and use in battle has felt different so far in Remake and Rebirth, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with Knights of the Round. And this part is also just my personal hope, but I'm especially looking forward to Bahamut Zero. I love Bahamut Arisen in Rebirth and the changes it got from the original Final Fantasy VII, so I'm curious to see how they make it feel different from the other Bahamut fights we've already had. But one thing I'm not happy about is Bone Village. I dislike that Bone Village was cut because it had such a unique identity in the original game. It was an archaeological excavation site where you can pay workers to dig up rare treasures, key items, and powerful materia through a minigame. I don't want every unique location from the original to just get skipped or replaced. Another thing from the RPG site interview that stood out to me is the Advent Children connection. RPG site brought up how Tetsuya Nomura previously said the remake project would link to Advent Children, and Hamaguchi didn't fully confirm exactly how Revelation connects to it. He basically said he wants players to play Revelation and see for themselves what the conclusion of the journey holds. That makes me even more curious because Advent Children is such a big part of the FF7 legacy. I don't need Revelation to copy Advent Children, but I do want to see how the ending lines up with the larger FF7 story. And then there's Chadley. Apparently, Chadley has a base inside the Highwind and is researching Meteor, which sounds wild. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about Chadley, but if he's tied more directly into the main story this time, that could make his role, more important. Another thing Polygon reported is that Sephiroth's English voice actor has changed for Revelation. Tyler Hoechlin won't be returning, and Travis Willingham is taking over the role. He's also the voice actor for Roy Mustang in the Full Metal Alchemist series, so that caught my attention right away. Hamaguchi said Hoechlin was unable to return, apparently because of scheduling. That's a big change, because this final game will probably have even more Sephiroth than Remake and Rebirth. So I'm really curious how Travis Willingham's version of Sephiroth is going to sound in the full game, especially with the story reaching its conclusion. Polygon also mentioned that Revelation is cutting back on some of the content bloat from Rebirth. For me personally, I was fine with the amount of content in Rebirth. I actually like having a lot to do because it made the world feel full and gave me more reasons to stay in each area. But I do understand why some players felt overwhelmed by all the minigames, map objectives, and side activities. So if Revelation is cutting back a little, I just hope it doesn't make the world feel empty. I still want strong side content, and another thing that stood out is Midgar. It sounds like we'll be able to return to Midgar, but not explore the whole city like in Remake. Hamaguchi said visiting Midgar will be different this time, while keeping that iconic feeling of the FF7 world. That has me interested because the Midgar raid is such a major part of the original game. I don't need old segments of Midgar to be explorable again. I do personally wish Wall Market could be playable again, because I really enjoyed that content in FF7 Remake. Wall Market had so much personality, and I really enjoyed its side content. I'd love to at least see some kind of callback to it in Revelation. Another thing I saw is that Revelation might leave the door open for DLC after release, depending on player demand. Hamaguchi talked about being open to considering ways to address requests for more details or parts of the story that haven't been shown yet. There was also talk about Revelation having more post-game content than Rebirth, with stuff like the weapons being stronger than the final boss, which sounds absolutely insane. I'm personally looking forward to those challenges. I'm also hoping Ultima Weapon will be considered a super boss this time around, because in the original FF7, the only super bosses were Emerald Weapon and Ruby Weapon. So overall, what has me excited is that Revelation sounds like it's expanding a lot of the side content and world building. Wutai sounds bigger, Gold Saucer is getting its new side story, Queen's Blood is coming back with more presence, hopefully G-Bike gets more love too. Knights of the Round could be a huge moment, and personally, I'm hoping Bahamut Zero makes it in. I'm curious how the Advent Children connection will actually play out. I'm curious how Midgar will feel when we go back. Chadley might actually be tied more into the main story. I am looking forward to the post-game content. But I still wish Bone Village wasn't cut, because that area had its own personality. What do you think? What are you most excited to see in Revelation?